This is Abe Friedtanzer from the Film Experience, and I'm so thrilled to be speaking with Orit Fouks Rotem about her new film, Cinema Sabaya. How are you today, Orit?
Hi, hello.
I'm excited to have had the chance to see this film. I know that it was screening at last year's Other Israel Film Festival and also at the AFI Fest, and I didn't have a chance to see it, but now that it's won the Ophir Award for Best Picture, I'm glad to have the chance to check it out again.
Yeah, me too.
So, can you tell me about the original inspiration for this story?
Yes, well, it was based on my mother experience as my mother, she's the advisor for women's issues of the mayor of a city called Hadera between Tel Aviv and Haifa. And she participated in a group of Jewish and Arab women that learn how to steal photography. And it gave me the idea for this platform of self-observing and the ability to look at yourself from inside when you look at yourself from outside. And I went and I did those kind of groups as a research to this film. And I did groups in Accra in the north and Givat Haviva, which is like a coexistence center close to Hadera. And yeah, so this was the inspiration, and I wrote it while I did it as a research, actually.
Were the characters based on specific people that your mother remembered?
No, it's based on women I met and women that I met not only in those groups, but in life. And it's a mix. It's not like someone can see the film and identify herself. It's a mix of women that I met and topics that I found interesting to talk about.
So how did you go about the process of casting these roles once you had written them?
It was a very long process, and I had an amazing casting director named Manuel Mayer. And we saw many women, non-actors and actresses, and all kinds of women from all that are similar in a way to what I wrote. I tried to stay as open as possible and just meet women I found interesting and that their stories were interesting. And actually some of them I met and then I wrote them. For instance, Carmela, the one that lives in the yacht, I met her through my script advisor, Ayelet Menachemi, and she also do kayaking, and she met her, and she just told me you have to put her in the film, and I met her, and then I wrote her, and so it was a mix of all kinds of ways to write and cast this film.
Were there any changes to the script based on conversations that happened once filming had already started, or any improvisation?
Yeah, there was a lot of improvisations. There was a script that was written and clear to everybody, but I gave them the freedom to improvise a lot. And also I saw them as partners to this creation, to this film, and a lot of small ideas and big ideas came from them and from the interaction of them together. For instance, the name of the film, I called it Cinema Sabaya because I knew that Sabaya is girls, women, young women. And then in one of the meetings we had with the cast, Amal Murkus told me the way you pronounce it, it sounds like prisoners of war, Sabaya. And they put it into the script, but I didn't know it before. So a lot of things happened through working on the film, actually.
There is a documentary called Sabaya about a refugee camp that I had seen last year, and so it's just it was interesting to just have that as a way to frame the film.
Yeah, I know. I actually had to change the name of it in some places that the film went out because they knew this Sabaya film, but it's yeah, it's very different.
What was your alternate title in those cases?
Cinema for beginners, what they chose, and I approved. But yeah.
Well, I do want to make mention of one performance from Joanna Said, who I know won the Ophir for Best Supporting Actress. She's really phenomenal, and this is her first acting role, correct?
In cinema, yeah. She studied in a school for visual arts, and she did some theater, but in cinema, it's the first role for her.
That's great. And I also was
amazing. And
she's fantastic. I mean, there's so many great performances in this film. It's also nice to see Donna Ivke, who I've seen in a lot of other things, who is the lead here, I think, but she's also more muted and she lets other people sort of tell the story, which is nice. So I know this was also your first feature film, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before that, I've done 3 short fictions and 2 documentaries.
How was the transition
short,
to
also short?
How was the transition to feature filmmaking for you? Was it what you expected?
I don't know if it's what I expected, but I waited a long time for it, and in the end it was 12 days of shooting. So it's not so much. It's not such a difference from the 5 days I shot a short film, but yeah, it's the time I worked on it and to get the money to do it, and all the process was very long and different from a short film. But yeah, it was amazing experience, and I wish I will do more.
I know that the film has screened at film festivals around the world and has been released in Israel. Has the reaction been different based on where the film has shown?
I'm surprised to see that not so much. I mean, I showed it in a festival in Romania, and the reactions were really similar to the reaction in Israel. In the end, it's about women and about people, and I think that there are some questions about nuances in Israel that they want that people not from Israel want to understand, but mostly the reactions are for the characters and that people feel for them and identify with them. So I didn't see a lot of difference between Israel and abroad.
Have there been any questions or reactions that have really surprised you?
Not really. When I did this film, I thought of all the things that I could hear from people. So I had an answer almost to everything. Maybe the men, sometimes men feel that their representation in the film is not good and not so good, and that wasn't my intention. For me, it's maybe I wasn't enough aware of it, but for me, there are all kinds of men in this film, but this is a reaction that I get sometimes that surprised me.
I think that is true that there are men in the film in a lot of different ways, but it's also, I think, a good thing for men not to be centered all the time and for that to be sort of something on the side rather than the focus. So I commend you for that. I think that's a positive direction. How does it feel to be representing Israel as the Oscar submission for this year?
It's amazing. I'm really honored to that the film get this kind of love and a big hug from people, and people go to see it in cinemas. It's now on Israel. It's almost no, it's 2 months now. Which is a lot for an Israeli film. So it's very exciting, and I'm happy to do that, to be in this position.
we don't always get the chance to see Israeli films here in the United States. I was looking at the list of Ophir nominees. I don't think 35 Downhill has been released here. I know Karaoke, Valeria is Getting Married, and Where is Anne Frank? I've seen all of those at different film festivals. But it's also, certain things like Let It Be Morning from last year and Incitement before that. Not everything, makes it in a big way. Do you have any favorite Israeli films from the past few years that you feel like Americans should try to see if we can?
From the last years, I have Asya. It's a film of Ruti Pribar that won a prize in Tribeca, some prizes actually in Tribeca. It's, I think, 3 years ago. It won the Ophir Prize. And from the last years, I need to think about it. But actually, Karaoke I love also. And Valeria, and yeah, I think that we have good cinema in Israel. It's getting better.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And I know you said you hope to do another feature at some point. Do you have any projects that you're working on right now?
I have some ideas for a TV series, and it's starting to come, the ideas, but I'm still so busy with this film, so I need to, the energy is not focused to writing anything new right now, but giving this film the respect and the way it has to go until it's finished or stops a little bit.
Of course. Well, Cinema Sabaya is playing at the Other Israel Film Festival. Thank you so much, Orit, for taking some time to speak with me today, and I wish you plenty of luck in the future and with the Oscar race.
Thank you. My pleasure.